Afternoon all. It's been a few days since I did one of these, so thought I'd best catch everything up. Obviously there's a lot of news that's come out since Friday, which is the last time I did it, even though technically I uploaded it on Sunday. So let's crack on. Microsoft are putting quotas around their Azure infrastructure at the minute in human malware affected areas, at least, due to what they say is a 775% uplift in usage on their cloud platform. That obviously encompasses Office 365 and Xbox and the likes, but obviously it's putting strain on the Azure infrastructure that powers all those things as well. So they've started to put quotas around things and stuff like that. So if you're using Azure and you bump into issues, I've mentioned it before, last week I think, then either retry or go into a different territory. If you can't go into a different territory, you're just going to have to keep retrying until you get some resource. But hey, obviously there's people now with a bit more downtime, so they can do a lot more of the work that's been sat in their backlog to move stuff to Azure and stuff like that. So I suppose that's why it's happening. And obviously Teams and Office 365 and Xbox Live are taking up considerably more resources than they normally do. But hey, we'll get through it. And if everyone else out there is working on Azure stuff, welcome to the Azure world. In related news then, like I said, the Xbox infrastructure, which runs on Azure, has seen a massive increase in resource utilization. So Microsoft have put things in place, and they've stopped the ability to having custom avatars and uploading pictures to clubs and stuff like that. Apparently it's mainly due to the fact that the people that look at all of these pictures that we upload and moderate them are having a tough time keeping up, because so many more of us are doing it. So they've locked it down. They can't do that at the minute until moderators catch up and stuff. So we'll have to see when that restriction gets lifted. Teams also had a couple of blips over the weekend, mainly in the Americas, I think. But obviously it's all linked. Massive uptick in resources. Microsoft saying 44 million people are now using Teams on a regular basis. And if you think that a good majority of them will be using video voice at any one time, then you can understand why it's increased so drastically in usage. Microsoft have also announced that they're rolling out their free version of Teams, 6 months free at least, that they used to have in China to the rest of the world. So if you want to set up a Teams server for you and your family so you can all talk and chat and stuff like that, you can do that now. Just go sign up over on Microsoft's site. Pretty good. It works well. It's got text, it's got video, it's got voice, it's got everything that goes with it, meetings and everything. So give it a go if you haven't found something that you like to use at the minute. Microsoft also announced that they're rebranding the Office 365 platform to Microsoft 365. There's not a lot of differences besides the fact that they're changing the name of it from Office to Microsoft. Kind of makes a bit more sense considering that it now encompasses like Windows licenses and stuff like that as well in it. So yeah, that's happening. They've also announced that Microsoft Teams for Consumers, I think it's called, or Teams for Family, something like that, is coming soon. What soon means, we don't really know. If you ask me, it'd be a good idea for Microsoft to try rush it through to release it during this downtime that everyone's got, because they'll get a much better buy-in to users than if they release it after this is all finished. No one wants to use a computer to chat to each other anyway, because they're sick and tired of doing it. But hey, in non-Microsofty news, we've got AMD sort of quietly released their 4000 series laptop CPUs based on the Zen 2 process, and everyone that's reviewed them say they kick butt. And from all the reviews I've seen and all the benchmarks I've seen, they decimate Intel in a lot of ways, both in performance and massively in battery usage as well. So Intel's processors will be running like 90 to 100 watts, and AMD's ones are like sub 40s, which is incredibly good, and still beating the Intel processors as well in the kicker. So if I was a stock buying man, buying stocks in AMD might be a good idea, because if they can do in the laptop world what they did in the desktop processor world with the Zens, then their stocks are going one way only, up. What else have we got? We've got F1 news. Ferrari and Red Bull are having a bit of a moan at the FIA and the F1, because there was a big piece of work about standardising gearboxes, and Mercedes don't want to go down that route because they, as it turns out, have a massive advantage over Ferrari and Red Bull. Red Bull and Ferrari use a 6-bolt pattern on the back of the gearbox to make it structurally safe with the rest of the car, and it becomes a stressed member of the car and holds the rear suspension and the likes, where Mercedes can do it with 4 bolts, and that is because their gearbox is much smaller and much more densely packaged into its area. Obviously that's a big aerodynamic benefit for Mercedes, and Red Bull and Ferrari aren't happy about it, so we'll have to see what comes out of that. There's also talks around the Concord Agreement. They've put it on hold. The Concord Agreement has been put on hold, and there's talks that the FIA and the F1 body are trying to push for cost capping measures to be pushed through. The talk is $100 million, and considering teams like Ferrari would probably spend 5 to 6 times that a year, we'll have to see how that floats. I can't see the big teams wanting to cut quite that hard back, but we'll have to see. Also F1 adjacent news, all of the F1 teams seem to be helping out in the human malware prevention stroke treatment. Teams making respirators, stuff like that, face masks. They have a massive capability of 3D printing, obviously, these teams, so they're helping out that way. But Mercedes and the University College London have put together a what they call a CPAP, which is like a breathing aid, and they've reverse engineered it from the original, made it not only cheaper and more reliable and easier to manufacture, but completely white-roomed, reverse engineered it in 10 days, which is a hugely impressive piece of work. Just goes to show what a Formula 1 team can do when they're not trying to make a Formula 1 car go a couple of tenths faster every week. Then we have Aston Martin have officially announced that they're taking over the title name and role of Racing Point from next year. So we've got another big mark coming back to the sport. It'd be nice to have another big one in the sport. So could be interesting. Then we have Rick and Morty news. Rick and Morty have dropped a teaser showing the dates that it's coming back to TV. So we've got the second part of season 4 coming back onto TV. It turns out that that's going to be on Adult Swim on the 3rd of May. 3rd of May, yes. So that'll be good. Something to look forward to watching. And then in other watching news, things to watch on TV, movies, etc. It seems Quentin Tarrantino has been going through movies and reviewing them on a sort of hush-hush basis and just pop them up on one of his websites. So I'll leave a link to the website down below, and you can go and have a look, see what Quentin Tarantino recommends to watch. It's something to do, and we'll have to go through and see what's good. Anything else you fancy watching or think people should watch, leave in the description, in the comments even. Have a look in the description for that link. And with that, I think that's about it. So everyone have a great day, and ta-ra.